welcome back. Today, I wanted to share another news headline, a property news headline, and I wanted to review the article with you. So, the headline of this article reads Tradie loses $241,000 home deposit due to fine print. A Sydney tradie has lost $241,500 deposit on his dream home after being 2 days late with a payment the house's vendors pocketed. Yeah. So it continues to read A Sydney tradie has lost his $241,500 deposit and a deal to own a $4.8 million mansion. He's doing well as a tradie because he missed the payment date by 2 days and the sellers cancelled. Okay. So, despite the vendors immediately objecting that the late payment voided the contract, they maintained the right to keep the balance payment of more than $90,000. And this week, a judge ruled in their favor. So, basically, what had happened here is this guy, this buyer, his name is Theo. He went to buy a property in a affluent eastern suburbs Sydney suburb. An eastern Sydney suburb. And he agreed to hand over an initial deposit, and then the balance of the deposit had to be paid within a certain period of time. And in this case, the balance had to be paid 4 months, in the fourth month after the contract date. Yeah. And the exact wording was on the fourth month after the contract date. So he agreed, I'm going to pay $4.8 million for this property. Here's an amount for the deposit now. But it's short $90,000. So I think it was like a $5,000, a 5% deposit. So it's short $90,000. I will pay the remaining $90,000. Yeah, so we'll sign the contract. I agree to buy the property. Our settlement is at a future date, but in the meantime, we have what we call a long settlement. Obviously, in this case, he's got a long settlement. Now, I don't know how long the settlement time frame was, but let's say it was 6 months' time. He said, I'll pay X amount of deposit now, and then I'll pay the remaining $90,000 in the fourth month after the contract date. Okay. And this is where the trouble started. So Mr. Theo went away on holiday and he was overseas. For some reason, I think it was Greece. For whatever reason, I think that. Maybe I read it down further in the article. So he was away overseas, partying it up, living it up. And then he was contacted. Apparently, he had already been contacted by the vendor's solicitor to say, your remaining $90,000 is due. He said, yeah. I'm overseas. I'll pay it when I'm back. Okay. Now, according to this article, Mr. Alexakis, Theo Alexakis, believed that he thought that he could pay the remaining deposit any day in that fourth month. And in this case, it was August in 2019. However, the vendors' solicitors and the vendor side interpreted that as being the actual date of exchange. So let's say in this case, they exchanged 4 months prior on the 4th of the month. So what's 4 months prior to August? August is the 8th. So it was April, yeah? April the 4th, they exchanged on the property where an initial deposit was paid, and he said, I'll pay the rest in the fourth month, in August. Now, the way that the vendor's solicitor interprets this is, if you exchange on the day and you sign the contract on the 4th of this month, then you are due to pay the remaining balance on the 4th of August. However, the buyer thought it was any time in that month. Yeah. So he's living it up, partying it up overseas. He got warned, look, you need to pay the rest of the deposit. And he didn't do so. He did pay it on his return. So it was 2 days late, and the vendor kept the money. The vendor said, you can't have the property anymore. You have broken the contract because you didn't pay the rest of your deposit in time, and we will take all of the deposits. So they took the $90,000 plus the initial deposit, totaling $241,000. Thank you very much. The property's still ours, and we have the opportunity to either resell it or do whatever we like with it. The question is this fair? Yeah. Actually, that's not really the question, is it? is it legal? Is it right? Well, according to the Supreme Court, yes, it is. So you might not think that that is fair. And do I think that is a little bit heartless of the vendors? I think, yeah. Could it come across as quite greedy? Personally, I think, yeah, it can come across as quite greedy. However, there needs to be more responsibility taken here. And the responsibility in this case, I believe, belongs with the purchaser. It is unfair, it is greedy of the vendors. However, the purchaser needs to have taken more responsibility in the understanding of the contract. Yeah. And in particular, the purchaser's solicitors should have guided them closely to this. Yeah. The article makes it sound like it was loose wording, and which indeed it could be interpreted as so. But anyone that has worked in the property and finance industry knows that when they say a month later or 2 months later, it's always as of the date of contract. Yeah. So the month ends. If you sign on the 4th of the month, then that next month ends on the 4th of the next month. It is something that is practiced on a regular basis all the time and is widely known. So this should have really been explained to this poor purchaser, and I am, very sorry for his loss because I do think it was a terrible thing that the vendors did to him. However, in the black and white legal, interpretation of the law, well, the vendors were within their rights. Was it good? Absolutely not. Was it was it a kind thing to do, or was it no? Was it an ethical thing to do? In my opinion, no, it wasn't. It certainly was not. But was it legally allowed? The answer is yes. Yes. So the lesson in all of this is you need to make sure that you are across the understanding of your contracts and that you have a very practiced conveyancer, a solicitor on your side working with you, explaining all the details of what everything means in your contract, or else it could cost you pretty much your lifestyle, maybe even your home. Okay, so if you liked this video and you would like more of this, or you've got some questions perhaps you want answered, or you've got some comments about this particular video and this article, please write them down below. I look forward to hearing from you. And in the meantime, if you haven't already, make sure you click the like button, make sure you click subscribe so you get notified. And to get notified, you need to hit the little bell icon, okay? And if you click subscribe and the little bell icon, you'll be notified every time we put out a new video, and perhaps one of those videos will be answering your questions. So I really look forward to hearing from you. See you soon.